Radio. You're with Karine Rayson from the Crew Coach on the Wellbeing Project. Today, we're going to talk about discovering your career potential. I have one of our students with us, Megan. Welcome, Megan. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so Megan, why did you decide to sign up to this course? Where were you in your life at that stage before signing up?
So the reason I decided to sign up for this course is I was feeling a bit lost within myself. I wasn't very happy, and I didn't know if I wanted to stay in the yachting industry or not. I was feeling very homesick, and I was considering leaving yachting to come home and be land-based to be closer to my family. But then I also found that I didn't want to leave yachting, and it was just a very confusing time for me. I'd been speaking to Karine prior for a few sessions, and she had suggested this course. So when I read over it, I immediately thought that this is what I need right now. And it couldn't have come at a better time for me, as a course had just started.
Okay, so you joined us a little bit later with regards to this course. We had some other ladies doing the course at the same time. And what I found very interesting was this course was designed initially for crew transitioning out of the industry. And all of you ladies were I'm not too sure where you were at, whether you were thinking of leaving, or were you in that situation where, do I stay as a chief stew or do I move into a purser role position? Like, what were you thinking?
Well, I was a second stew, so I had done a few charters as a chief stew, but I'd obviously been a purser prior to this, to a few years ago. And I was just unhappy with what I was doing. And at that stage, I was just really feeling homesick, and I didn't know if I wanted to come back home and be with my family. My sister was moving to Scotland. She still is. And I just wanted more time with her. So everything was just confusing. I had so many thoughts running through my head. And when you had suggested this, I obviously thought, well, let me read over it. And when I did, it was perfect, because it was, where do I go from here? Do I carry on where I am? Do I want to go land-based? And it was all just trying to figure that all out. Do I stay in yachting? Do I become a chief stew, or do I go back to the purser route? And so basically it was all just uncovering what I wanted to do and where I would go from there.
Wow. So you had a lot of questions circulating in your mind, and I could only imagine that would feel very overwhelming.
Yeah, it was definitely an overwhelming time. But yeah, luckily you came along and helped me through it, which I'm very grateful for.
Well, I'm glad you got value out of it, and it'd be very interesting to hear, your thoughts around where you're at with your career now and what you want. It's certainly a journey, that course, but you were so focused. You made it to the finish line, even though you started a lot later than the others. You're the first to come.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of a favorite module, do you have one that you found very helpful in gaining more clarity around what you wanted?
I do. I found two of the modules very beneficial. We covered the module on overcoming your limiting beliefs. Now, limiting beliefs are thoughts, opinions that one believes to be true. They tend to have a negative impact on one's life and stopping them from moving forward and growing on a personal and professional level. So this module was very moving for me, as I've always struggled with that. It's something have never been able to deal with. And we learned how to identify these limiting beliefs and rephrase them and replace the negative talk, etc. So the added bonus on those is that we watch these TED videos, and I found them to be very motivating and inspiring. And it's something that just spoke to me. I remember doing it, and messaging Karine straight afterwards, and I just said to her, wow, this is so powerful, because it's something that I've always struggled with, and I just feel like it just spoke to me, and it got to me on a personal level. And so that for me was definitely one of my highlights of doing it. And the other beneficial that I found that I got clarity from was doing my petal. So now each petal of my flower consisted of a different category, uncovering and reflecting on all the modules we had done. And some of my favorite petals that we uncovered was the people you'd like to work with, your working conditions, your skills, your purpose. So those were some of my favorites, because you uncover a lot and you see a pattern from where you started and where you end, and your words start to repeat themselves. And it was quite fascinating how we were reading each petal and uncovering all the different stages of the flower. And Karine picks up all these patterns throughout on the words repeated, and we never even thought of, until she had picked it up and we noticed and we saw how true it was. And it's just really fascinating how it all just comes together, how similar that each petal and everything looks once you gain that clarity on what you want.
So now, Megan, where do you think you would be if you didn't take this course? Because I know that beforehand you were not thinking of leaving your vessel. And then we were doing a module on values, or maybe we did it in a private session, I cannot remember, but you made a very strong decision quite quickly.
I did. So, I mean, once you realize what your values are, and your goal setting, it's comes into play where you just have to prioritize those. And so Karine and I were doing it in a private session, and obviously something at home happened, and with my family, so it was time to leave. And it was probably actually for the better, because I wanted to do this course and it made me focus on doing it. If I was still on the vessel, I probably wouldn't have had the time to complete it. So I'm really happy that I came home and managed to put my time and focus into doing it. But where would I be if I hadn't done it? Well, I'm not too sure. I might have stayed, might have not, but I had a family emergency to come home to. But I also just feel like if I hadn't have done it, right now, if I didn't have a job and I was going to take a job, I probably would take a job where I'm not living to my full potential. I'm not doing what I deserve. I'll probably just take a job just because, and not prioritizing those values into my next job. So I probably would just I've taken a job where it's something that I'm not truly happy with, or not living to what I'm capable of.
It's very interesting you say that, because I think so many of us do that. It's almost we are blinded to what we truly want. We might not think that we deserve that. We have no clarity around what our values are, and it just becomes a paycheck at the end of the day and nothing more, and not sustainable. And then we question and we scratch our heads and like, why do I feel disconnected? Why do I feel lonely? Why don't I feel excited to get up in the mornings for work? And it's until you deep work on yourself to figure all that out, you can move more freely. And not only, I don't know if it was you, or I think it was Samantha who was saying in the course that when she was doing her petals, she realized her values around her ideal partner was very similar. And that's what you've mentioned about patterns.
It does uncover a lot. And having worked through it, you know what you want now going into moving forward. It just gives you more clarity on that. And the deeper you get into the course, like coming towards the end, you just light up. And like I think you all had said, once I'd realized what I wanted to do, I lit up, and I was just so happy. And yeah, it just made me really happy realizing that, and talking about what I want. Everyone saw how happy it made me, and so I just felt really good about myself for it.
Oh, well, I think that's such a lovely positive note to end off on.
Yeah. Well, also to mention the lovely ladies that I had the pleasure of doing the course with. They're golden gems, and I think we can all say to each other how grateful we all are having met each other and doing it together.
100%. You guys were such a supportive group, and it was lovely to see those relationships being nurtured throughout the course, for sure. And I always say, like, with regards to, I think any industry, your network is so powerful. And I know that you've been sharing jobs and helping one another behind the scenes that I haven't been privy to, but I know that connection is there. And that is something that is so special that you cannot lose. So that's beautiful. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Karine. Thank you for all your support.
My pleasure, and congratulations. And I cannot wait to hear what is to come. I know you're on the job hunt at the moment. And I also know we had a past student come into the course and talk to all you ladies about what her future looks like now. And I cannot wait to do that with you too, Megan, to see, what you've achieved.
Thank you.
Good, my pleasure. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
I hope that you feel inspired by this interview, or at least hopeful. So many of us have either been in that situation or are in this situation where we're experiencing decision overwhelm with regards to our career. It can be extremely overwhelming making a career choice that is a right fit for us. So if you're interested in learning more about how you can discover your career potential, do get in touch and we can look at what your options are.